Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and by God do we have a tough one to break down and discuss today, because obviously we've sat for many years here, maybe too many years, a lot of people arguing. We've talked about some great highs, we've had some devastating lows, and usually when this fixture has came around, that rollercoaster has petered up with this, but mostly been frustrating, you know what I mean? I've sat in front of you devastated, infuriated, almost driven to the point of a mental breakdown, watching a lot of these performances, because we turn into these games and we get bullied, we get battered. Hell, I sat in front of you a couple months ago, almost embarrassed to call certain players, Rangers players, in the starting 11, the way that they were beat before a ball was kicked. I feel like we've been through the ringer and we've experienced almost everything, but it's for the first time in a very long time I'm sitting here on the back of an old firm loss, feeling something a little bit different, and it is a difficult one to break down, and it's very difficult for me to try and formulate a thought to figure out how I'm feeling, because it's hard to criticise a lot of what went wrong today, or the fact that we did lose, because what I saw for the Rangers team today was a team that wasn't perfect, that had holes in the game. We're not the strongest here, we've got plenty of injuries, there's plenty of reasons why we shouldn't be winning this game, and people might look to that, but I saw a team, no matter if it's the strongest 11 selected, if possible, or just buy in and actually give absolute everything. And that's where I'm struggling today, to come out all pissed off and angry and saying this guy, and coming after players, because again I didn't feel like that's right to do that, because what I just witnessed was over 120 minutes of the players that play for the team that we all love just give absolute everything and come up short when it comes to the very end of the game due to a penalty shootout, which we all know is just a lottery and it's based on luck. And again, unfortunately, Lady Luck doesn't shine in our favour again when it comes to these shootouts. And I'm definitely more crushed than I am pissed off, but again, that is another loss, it is another failure, and it is another trophy to Celtic. As blunt as it is, that is not good enough, and that shouldn't be happening. But again, the way it unfolded today, it's really hard to rip to shreds and blame this guy and blame this guy and this guy. It came to the lottery stage of a penalty kick. Now, you could make arguments there was things we'd done wrong in the game, and I think Clement could have made subs about half an hour earlier than he should have, especially early in the second half. I felt like he let the game go too far. There's obviously a massive incident in the second half when we should make it 2-0, which we will discuss in today's video. It's just another massive blunder against Celtic to take our opportunities, and for me, two players substituted on who maybe signed their last game for Rangers that should never pull on the Rangers shirt again, because to me there will be a lot of people, maybe not all people, you know what I mean, coming out and blaming Ridvan Yilmaz for this. You know what I mean, he's missed the penalty, blah blah. It happened with Aaron Ramsey years ago in the Europa League final. Sorry for mentioning it. People tore this guy to shreds here, there and everywhere, and everyone still absolutely despises him. And I know it's not to the level of what is a European final, but now Ridvan's missed. Is everyone going to blame him the same way a lot of people blame Ramsey? But at the same time, I'm saying, and I'm going to say the exact same thing I'm saying today for Ridvan as I did all those years ago. Aye, it's frustrating they missed. Aye, it's devastating they're the ones that missed. But again, you can't come after players and be overly annoyed and tear these guys to part, because what you're actually seeing is players having the balls to step up and take what is a massive moment in a massive game and put themselves on the line. That's what we're seeing for Ridvan, you know what I mean? He's stepping up in the order he is, ahead of guys on massive wages. Same for guys, if he teams like the Premier League, like likes of Kieran Dill's just bleeding this club dry. He wages doesn't nowhere near the level required, and clearly not up here as well. And you've got the likes of Dessers trotting on, and people still love him because he scores an odd goal here when the game's over and everything like that, and he doesn't hold the ball up, he starts throwing away, and his direct correlation, he coming into the game just fits perfectly with Celtic taking over the game in extra time, just killing any potential chance that, oh, maybe we can nick something in the game. That price tag and the wage stay, and they two guys are away hiding in the background. So for me, the frustration should never be on a Ridvan Yilmaz or who missed in the penalty shoot, especially the first five, because they're brave enough and again big enough to try and seize that moment for you. The frustration should be the big wages, the big price tags that are away hiding in the background that's barely kicked a ball all afternoon, you know what I mean? So that's how I feel, and I do really feel bad for Ridvan. Obviously, I don't think he's stopped greeting yet since he missed the game. And as daft as it is to say, I've been a part of like daft wee games that's had a penalty shoot and guys are absolutely devastated, you know what I mean? I've been involved in football. Anyone that's played football has ever played in a match, it's where the penalty shoot, it doesn't matter what level, they're absolutely devastated when they absolutely miss. So can you imagine in that magnitude with a rivalry, 118 trophies on 118 trophies that have been drilled into these players, what it meant to the entire foundations of this football club. So to have that on your shoulders, I hope the laddie's alright, but at the same time, as my question is, why is a backup second choice left back stepping up there ahead of guys on massive wages and guys and massive price tags? Because you look at the 5 penalty takers we had today, again, no complaints about the likes of Tavernier, no complaints about the likes of Hadji and everything like that, but you look at our last 2 penalty takers, it was a backup left back and our goalkeeper. The question for me is, where's the mentality of these players that's hiding in the background? Why is it background and why is it goalies stepping up air, these laddies? So that's how I'm feeling into the game. The more angry I am and the more frustrated I am at the people that's away hiding in the background. My hatred and my frustration isn't to the guy that missed the day. I don't know how you feel. You can let me know down in the comments section below. Is it Ridvan's fault? No. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a phenomenal save for Schmeichel. If we had made the save in Butland, we'd be calling Butland the hero. Would we be calling the other guy the villain? No, we wouldn't. So just because the shoe's on the other foot, we shouldn't try and vilify someone. The villains are the ones, again, that aren't interested and didn't have it up here. And that's what I took for the game. Mentality-wise, there is players that really have what it takes to be here and can be a part of the rebuild, that can be a part of the project, that can be a part of moving this club forward. And again, for me, it's put almost the final warrant and the final signature on several players that are simply nowhere good enough on the park, but also off the park up here, as they just didn't get it. That's my thoughts and opinions on that. And a free thriller versus Celtic that went all the way to the penalty shootouts, where one missed penalty was the difference maker. And again, that is what separated the two sides. It was one kick and one save from 12 yards out, despite Celtic coming into this game heavy favourites. And if we're honest, as Rangers fans, before that Spurs game, did any of us actually believe we were going to be good enough to win this game? No. The Spurs game gave us a boost and said, hey, maybe, just maybe, the pennies click, maybe, just maybe, we'll raise the level, and maybe, just maybe, we'll go after this Celtic squad and cause them a hell of a lot more trouble as they've eased in and strolled over us in the past. And that's the way the game unfolded. But again, that is the fine margins in football, and football can be cruel. You're wondering what it is that does it, and the difference between these two sides, it was that there, one kick for 12 yards. But of course, there is so much to talk about. We've got 6 goals to talk about. We've got massive chances, massive blunders, massive mistakes, and obviously the penalty shootout itself. So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a painful one, but we're going to try and relive this and break down the real story of the game, and some things that I've not mentioned so far will become clearer the more we start to unravel this absolute heartbreaking loss to Celtic. And getting into the starting 11, I'll be honest, did I like it? Did it make me feel good? No. It never. I'm not going to change my opinion now because it worked in some aspects, but it didn't in others. But before we maybe talk about some frustrations, because I know people are going to be annoyed at Phil. I already heard that. I heard people saying it and everything like, you should have made subs earlier. So I know there is going to be people really frustrated at what Phil done wrong. But what he did get right was something I noticed 5 minutes into the game of football, because Bajramis was a shock inclusion coming into this game, because again, he's been guffed, but the reason Bajramis was selected was to sit in that 10 position and watch Callum McGregor and take Callum McGregor out the game. And we touched on this in yesterday's preview video. He's tried that previously with Lawrence, who again could get outrun by Professor Xavier. He's tried this with Todd Cantwell, who's just never had it up here either. Just like a couple of the names I've already mentioned. Phenomenal talent, phenomenal ability, but he just couldn't keep the head screwed in and stick to a task. But he gave Bajramis the opportunity today, and for me that is one of the main reasons we had the base that we had, and one of the main reasons we looked as dangerous as we did, because there will be people coming in and saying, oh, you couldn't even beat us at our worst again, we played crap, you couldn't beat us. But anyway, just can he pretend they didn't say that every single time it's a close old firm? Right, now taking the 3-0 away earlier in the season where they just battered us, and I can hold my hands up and saying all these ones, it was separated by the 1 goal, VAR incidents here, you, all these ones, it was a snippet, all we heard was the same crap fighters. Couldn't beat us on our worst day, and I know they'll come out and peddle that stuff again, but that's irrelevant nonsense to me. The way that we took the game away from Celtic and destabilised everything they did and made them look so erratic is we just took Cal McGregor completely out the game for large spells of it. And again, I give praise to Bajramis, as he is one of the main reasons he did that, and it shows you when you take Cal McGregor out the game and you didn't give him 10-15 yard space or have a pensioner chasing him for 90 minutes, this Celtic side needs to find other answers and solutions to it, and clearly it just played into your favour because no one's up to the level to pull the strings like a Cal McGregor. And I've said that for years. Everyone loves Hatate and Scottish Fib, everyone loves this guy and this guy, Engels 11 million, all these players. Callum McGregor is Celtic. You take him out the game, it just makes Celtic look the way they did today, and it was a brilliant bit of coaching and again man marking. We talked about Park Ji Sung on and Endo Herrera on the likes of Hazard, a couple, I think it was yesterday as well in the preview video. That's what we got, but it was again a surprise it came from Bajramis. But aye, him just nipping the ball actually allowed us great opportunities as Celtic had to step up in other areas. Other people had to build up the play, and they just weren't at the level that Celtic have been accustomed to under McGregor, and made for a lot of early balls, winning the ball, a lot of traps set that again we Raskin, who it's just, this is how football's cruel, you know. You had to say Raskin was brilliant today, but at the same time he took a deflected goal for Celtic and he actually put them through on goal. I said that's annoying, and how crap is that to say? But if you look at everything else, you take about 10 seconds of madness off the table for Raskin when he was too short with a back pass to Leon Balogun and unlucky deflection off him. People will mock him, but I thought he was great all day, and he just set the tone. What I mean, his first interception was 14 seconds into the game. I was like, oh, wee Raskin's going to do it again, and I thought he was great today. So there is positivity, there is things to build on, but again we lost due to a penalty shootout, so it's hard to really talk all this up. But after a traditionally frantic opening 10 minutes, there was a couple wee opportunities here. The first one for us is actually some good plays. The ball gets played long to Egeman sort of occupying Carter Vickers. The ball drops to Hadji whips in a cross style shot that's saved by Schmeichel, and nobody's there for the actual tapping, as again Egeman's got two men actually on him, and that was maybe the only wee thing that we lost with the tactical sub in nullifying Celtic. We almost nullified a lot of our attacks as well, especially playing Hadji out in the left, who again I give credit for the amount of conditioning he did and how hard he worked, but that guy was blowing. Ladies and gentlemen, he should have been substituted off a hell of a lot early, and I think if Cortez can make it on the bench versus Spurs and sit there, he can't give us 10 minutes. He's not in a position to do 50 minutes, so as he went backwards since Thursday when he sat on the bench and never came on, is there nothing we can do? Because it was just crying out for a tiny bit of pace out on the left, and honest to God I feel like we would have been in every time. And that's not me digging at Hadji, because I know he was involved in a hell of a lot, but the game was so open, we won so many balls, but our midfield so chronically slow, without the likes of Ridvan playing left wing or any of these boys being played out of position, and that was the only frustration. But speaking of frustration, Tavernier started today's game, and it wasn't as bad as Tavernier's been previously versus Celtic, but are we going to pretend that he was good today? Like, he wasn't good, and the longer the game went on, I thought he got worse and worse and worse, and in the 7th minute he nearly cost us a goal. It's a terrible back pass into the middle, but thankfully Leon Balogun ends up doing a brilliantly timed slide challenge to Maeda inside the box to stop them running through, or it was a familiar story and familiar crap that were fired our way. And again, this isn't a Tavernier agenda or anything like that. I'm not turning it into a Tavernier witch hunt, but I didn't think he was very good today, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he was because he scored a penalty in the actual shootout. Mostly Celtic's kind of counters and everything that came from the likes of Tavernier, but because he wasn't as bad and as glaringly making mistakes as he had previously, a lot of people saying he was one of the best players on the park. Just not for me, but again, I'm not turning this into a Tavernier thing, but if you continue to watch the video, the quick counters and the wee silly back passes and the slack bits, a bit of stuff he done on the ball, did result in several counter-attacking opportunities, but he wasn't the worst fullback on the park. You can put it that way, as again, we've got Jeffrey having a mad 10 minutes, and then Ridvan Yilmaz forgetting that he's supposed to be playing left back when he got substituted on, and aye, we'll get there. But again, 15 minutes into the game came the first major opportunity, especially from a Celtic perspective, that I think they should have scored. By the way, one simple ball from Bernardo in the middle of the park, plays it in behind Jeff. The Bropper's not got the pace to keep up with Kuhn. We spoke about that yesterday. That was the clear worry in there, and I was interested in how that battle would go, especially the longer the game went on. But Kuhn just burns past by Big Proper, tries to cut inside, but it's perfectly timed for Jack Butland, who's picked up a lot of criticism, especially with some of the goals we've conceded, and for being pretty poor sometimes versus Celtic, if I'm honest. But I thought he was really, really solid today, and just the timing to get down, but then also to get back up and make almost a double save, if you will, from Hatate to stop it being 1-0 50 minutes into the game. Because as good as we were in this game, if we concede that early goal in the 15 minutes, I don't know, that game could have been anything. But again, Butland kept us in it with the perfectly timed almost 1v1 save versus Kuhn, but then getting back up and saving maybe the rebound from Hatate. But where that was the first shot on target from Celtic, they soon had another as Kyogo spins in behind Big Robin, but I think he is offside here, if I'm honest with you. But anyway, Jack Butland doesn't know that, makes a very good save at his near post. Rangers then eventually get the first shot on target around about the 25th, 26th minute of the game, as we put in a horrendous set piece from Hadji. It's like our set pieces were dreadful to do, and I know it's became almost a bit of a meme right here, but you think of how many set pieces we had today and just absolutely wasted. And I didn't understand this obsession with just firing at the near post. Surely somebody's got a bit of creativity. And I look at the guys like Cherny and the assist that he got today when he floated it into there, and the havoc that actually creating that goal. And then I just say, it's just almost just daft. Do we have anybody working on a set piece? You just step up and fire it near post, maybe it'll go in. There's just no imagination, no creativity. But anyway, from the terrible set piece, the ball eventually does drop to Tavernier outside the box. Tavernier whips one to the back post, and Leon Balogun gets a soft header on target. But Balogun's name was mentioned a couple minutes later, as was Tavernier, as Tav takes a heavy touch out the byline, I should say. Heavy touch, loses it to Maeda. Maeda spinning in behind, but thankfully Leon Balogun is there again, and he brings him down actually. And no, sorry, it goes Maeda to Hatate. Hatate spins, and then Balogun pulls him down and picks up the yellow card. But it's one of those ones, it's a brilliant yellow card that's in again. I was just screaming, come on Skipper, man, just have a game, give me a James Henry. I'm not needing a Tavernier. If you know this channel, you'll know what I mean. But it's got to be said, after that almost flurry of activity, it started to become Rangers, he's pressing and he's trapping. This is when I thought Raskin was great, and I thought Diomandes was great in the middle as well, the way they were nipping in. And I thought Bajramis again was not only doing his job of keeping Callum McGregor out the game, but was also pouncing on abilities as well, which honestly I never knew he really had that much into his game. You know what I mean? He's very creative, he's had a lot of questionable defensive plays so far when he's been playing out in the left, but clearly he bought in to that role right there. If he's going to play at that level, yeah, let's keep him at the 10 position. And I thought he was great today, and the way we end up opening the scoring in the first half is all down to this lad again, just setting the trap. Raskin, Diomandes are also vital to this as well, taking everything off the table. Egeman's putting a wee bit of pressure on it, forces the ball to Bajramis, who intercepts these brilliantly. He ends up running a little bit, plays, I'd actually say it's a really bad ball to Egeman, and it's probably because I like Egeman, I'm going to talk this up here. But what Egeman does to get the ball out for his feet, whilst he's got a defender on him, fake shot to send Carter Vickers to the shop, then get the shot on target that eventually is rebounded in to the back of net from Bajramis. That's brilliant for Egeman. And I look at what we had later on when we brought on Dessers, just running about doing stupid fouls and just getting embarrassed and just letting everybody down that had run their heart and soul in the game. And I look at that wee laddie there and I thought, by God, yeah, he's very, very good, because the way he gets the ball from a poor pass for Bajramis, gets it into forcing Schmeichel in a phenomenal save, but Bajramis follows up, taps it to the back of it. It's pandemonium. It's 1-0 to Rangers. There's joy, there's celebration, and we're like, yes, we can do this. And everyone's talking about the major blunder that we had at the start of the second half when we should have made it 2-0, but has everybody forgot the 47th minute of this game? Balogun brilliantly jumps in front of Kyogo, wins the ball. Egeman's begging for the ball. He's just begging for the ball. 1v1 versus Carter Vickers. We've not got a cart horse up there. No, we can't. Just play him the ball. We've got somebody that can run. But the big man, who I've got a lot of love for, hesitates. Egeman's then offside, then Balogun eventually does run into the box, plays in a good sort of cross. It goes to Hadji, he picks out Czerny. Czerny's shot is blocked in. Aye, it still resulted in at least a shot on target, but by God, I wish we'd just play guys when they're wide open instead of taking too many touches. But again, that comes with like chemistry and building up and having a good understanding. A lot of these players haven't played a lot of games together, especially with the likes of Egeman. They've been playing with a cone that smiles a lot and moans whilst he's offside for the majority of the season. So it's just wee things like that that I thought, that is a saying. But again, going into half time, nothing but pride into that, and it was all about how Celtic were going to respond and how we would try to counter and limit whatever they were going to do. And the way they responded was taking off the likes of Trusty for Liam Scales. Now I assume that was an injury, as I think Trusty's a better player than Scales. Maybe I'm wrong in that one, but that was the only change. And again, Rangers were still setting the traps, winning the ball, and this moment ends up coming, and it's the moment we lost the game. You know what I mean? I know we missed for 12 yards out, but we score, put this into the back of net. We make a 4-on-1 advantage count. It is game, it is set, and it's match. Because again, Celtic hadn't strung 3 passes together for about 27 minutes. Football, the fans were frustrated. We were elated. That is the moment to kill the game, and that is what we lack, that true killer instinct. I think if Celtic scored... In fact, if you look at the way Celtic responded when they did outnumber us, their goals, like the likes of Kuhn later on in the second half, pulling it back, picking out the right man, picking out the right pass. That's the key differences in the game as well. They take their opportunities. We've just no got the killer instinct. After some great work from Diomandes, spins away for his man, plays it to Egeman. Egeman plays it to Bajramis. Bajramis just got to show a wee bit of composure here. Maybe even fake the pass. Let Carter Vickers go, sliding like Sol Campbell off the actual pack, and then picking not only Egeman, but he's got 2 other players wide open for the tap-in, but he just tries to hit it first time, and that is only ever going to benefit the one defender that's back there. And we blew this versus Nice. In fact, I could go through it. We blew it versus Dundee United. Ross Kent, we blew it time and time again over the last couple of years, but this one hurts the most as I sit back and I look at it each and every single time. The only way Celtic stop us from scoring, and that is if we do that and rush it and we have a rush blood, and that's the exact what we did under Bajramis. He's a better player than that. He's got to be better than that. Just at least fake it or to hesitate a wee bit, because Carter Vickers is already on his way to slide and just pick one of the guys out for an easy tap in. But that's the fine margins if you want to be successful, and again you want to be another unlucky loser. And it's a painful reminder that that was round about the 52nd minute of the game, and Celtic, from that opportunity after clearing another terrible set piece from us, they go and counter us. They get the ball down the right hand side. Kuhn plays in a brilliant ball to the near post. Kyogo does well to get the shot on target, but it's a brilliant save with Butler, and I'm like, oh my God, right, we got away with it, let's reset. But from the resulting set piece, the ball gets headed out, it falls to Greg Taylor. We didn't react quick enough, and again it's just luck. That's what it is, and it's hard to continue to look at these types of deflections here, we get a goal offside here, or it's VAR'd off here, and it's just time and time again, we're clearly the most unluckiest team in the world, and it's absolutely infuriating. As Greg Taylor's shot, I think it's gone on target, but Raskin puts his foot out as he's trying to block it at wrong foot, it's Butland, and it's 1-each, and I'm thinking, aye, that's it. In the space of 90 seconds where it should have been 2-0 and possibly game over, it's now 1-1. They're on the ascending, saying what the sickening blow was, we couldn't even chew on that disappointment, because less than 3 minutes later, it is 2-1 to Celtic, and this Rangers team shut the bed. And the way that we do it is the most Rangers way versus Celtic possible, because we start to do stuff that we never done before, but because they've scored, we're rattled a wee bit. Raskin puts the header down. Balogun's a bit sleeping here, as I think he's actually injured, if I'm being brutally honest with you, as he got injured earlier on in the first half. He trusted it and he was just trying to run it off. But anyway, he's too slow to react. Maeda is fast. Didn't take risks near the fastest player on the park. Does anybody mention Maeda's pace in any team meeting or any practice? Because by God, do we just play to him every single time. The one player in the park you didn't take any needless risk, or if you didn't sit off and you didn't allow any room, is the guy we continually sit off, give room and let just run through us. And to be fair to him, he wins a sort of 50-50 with Balogun, and then he brings the ball down and slots away. It's actually a much better goal than maybe he scored previously when it's hit off him through Tavernier or anything. It's actually a really good goal. So it's not a tap in or it's bounced off him. It's a great goal in that aspect. But I look at it from a Rangers fan perspective, I'm like, is there just no situational awareness when that boy's on the park? Why take any risks? And again, it comes for Raskin, who I'd still argue was probably the best player on the park, but that's the most Rangers statement you can do. The guy that was best player on the park basically gives Celtic 2 goals. How can you win with that? Like, do you know me? How can you go ahead and win games in football when your best player is directly involved in 2 goals for the opposition? It's so harsh, but again, football can be cruel, and it was cruel on wee Nico the day. We end up making a substitution, and this is one of my first things that I want to moan at here from maybe Clement's side, because I gave him a lot of praise for certain aspects and what he'd done, but the 10-minute spell, the way they started at the second half and the way we looked at that, we had to make substitutions. You know what I mean? We had to really go here because it was clear the legs were starting to go, and it was clear they were on the bit of the ascendancy, but we just sat on our hands. And the sub we actually make is taking Jeff off and bringing Ridvan on, when I thought it was clear as day. Jeff stays on, who again isn't winning necessarily the battle with Kuhn, but again he's quick and he can run all day. I thought he wasn't getting any help from Hadji, who I'm a big fan of, by the way, and I know he ran his heart in the ground, but he's in half speed. If you get me, I thought it was just what worked so brilliantly. This is a team like Spurs, you know what I mean, that can shut down players in that magnitude. I thought it was just helping and solidifying and strengthening the left-hand side by putting Ridvan on for Hadji whilst keeping that counter-attacking ability. But that's not what we've done either, as we took Jeff off of Ridvan straight on. And Ridvan looks like he's been playing left wing for a very, very long time, as he was absolutely awful the day. Defensively, biting miles out of position. You've got Robin proper, and I've maybe mentioned Robin a couple of times with people spinning, but I thought he was actually pretty good the day, you know what I mean? I wouldn't necessarily he was great at him, but he was solid, and that's better than most centre-backs, especially in these old firms. But you know what he lacks? Pace. So he needs a wee bit of cover. That's why him and Jeff work so well, because Jeff's got the recovery pace. But then when you take Jeff off, you put Ridvan on, and then Ridvan sitting like Tavernier for the majority of his career, 15 yards out of position. You're just asking for trouble, and trouble came calling. But again, it was swinging. It was going back and forth, and we actually had almost one penalty in the game. Argument should have been made that we should have had a penalty, but the ball comes in and Balogun swinging for the ball, catches Carter Vickers before it goes to Diomandes, who's fouled in the box. So I'm completely fine with that one. I get it, ladies and gentlemen. On Balogun's fouled, Carter Vickers firstly traced the hang of the play. I'm alright with that non-penalty, but I'm thinking that's another blow, that's another saying to have. But again, we still showed that resiliency and fight, and for me, we had players on that part that was just willing to give absolute everything, that just refused to really let it go. I know they had a mad 5 or 6 minutes in the game, but they just showed what they've no showed for the majority of these old firm, and that's where the pride comes back in, because any other old firm over the last 13 games, if you know, I think we've won 1 out of the last 14 in that aspect, and that's when the league was already over. But out of any of those games, we concede those 2 games, it's probably ending up a cricket score. But the Rangers team fought for it, and we brought in players, and there's some personality in there, and I thought again that's where the likes of Eggman is important. And look at the extra time if you want to argue him and start making up excuses. Just the way he was working and the way he was going about his business, we always looked dangerous, and the danger is coming from that right foot of Eggman, because we eventually get the ball from a short corner as Tavernier went ahead to take it, and it goes to Eggman, and I'm thinking, why is your striker out wide? But do you know why he's out wide? Because nobody can cross a football to him. Eggman goes out and does it himself. He's already got an assist, if you will, a Premier League official assist, you would call it, by having his shot rebounded in it back in it. But then he grabs a direct assist here as he crosses it brilliantly in to Diomandes, who brings it down. And to be fair, I know Eggman gets the assist and I'm talking about, but Diomandes with the close control to bundle that into the back in it was absolutely sensational. I loved that goal, and I love that Eggman's heavily involved again, and just his mentality of, no, this is pish. Hadji and Tavernier killing every cross in the game. I'm going out there and I'm doing the job they should actually be doing. Shout out to the wee man, and then it's 2-2. By the way, I forgot to mention around about this point, Stellan did come into the game, but he was playing at centre half as Leon Balogun went out. Now it's 2-2. Now it's got time. Now we've brought our way back, and we get countered again as Ridvan Yilmaz shows, by God, he is almost more of a winger these days, is he just bites for no reason, tries to throw. It's so rash, it's so needless, it's genuinely so reckless, especially against Celtic's best attacking player. They come down the side, Ridvan's nowhere to be seen, it's a complete counter-attacking opportunity, and it's only, I think, a 3-on-2 at this, but look at the way they take advantage of it. Kuhn runs in, pulls it into the middle. Oh, sorry, no, I think, is it Johnson that goes down? Pulls it into the middle. They pick out Kuhn. Kuhn has a shot and it gets deflected, I think, in to the back of net. Or this one goes straight into the back of net. But Diomandes absolutely stretching his hammy. He's blowing out his arse. The left-hand side continually gets destroyed time and time again. And Phil's just sitting there standing on his hands. We needed more help doing that left-hand side and a bit more pace to combat what Celtic were trying to do. We just sat on our hands too long and it looked like it was going to be a familiar story where again we've played directly in to our own defeat. But again, 21 seconds later, this team stood up and refused to let this game go the way that they did. And did you see the way that the goal came down? Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I'm losing my mind here. But no more of this slowing down crap so the likes of a fullback can trot beyond them. And again, I'm not turning this into a Taverny thing, but if you watch the game, Czerny did Czerny put any crosses in? Did he run at his man? No, it was more of the facilitating crap, and I thought Czerny was really poor in the first half, but there seems to be a switch in that laddie when he's told he can be a winger and when he's to hold up the play and play as a wide 10, because it's completely different. And he finally just snapped. He ran himself, he ran down to the right hand side, he cut back onto his stronger foot, he puts on a wonderful ball into the mixer, no waiting to do it here or passing it here or passing it, but he takes control of it, drops it right into the mixer, and Danilo scores a brilliant headed goal to equalise less than 30 seconds after going 3-2 behind in the 86th minute. That's why I can be proud of my team. That's why I'm not destroying this guy and this guy and this guy, because that is heart and desire and actually being in the game. That's all we wanted coming out. We know where we are, and if we're strong enough and we're good enough here, there and everywhere. We're no in a lot of aspects, but again, we actually gave everything today. Brilliant goal for Danilo, and that's why you play two strikers in the mixer. That's why you play Egeman and Danilo, because Celtic can't bully and only occupy one defender, what they've been very, very good at. Brilliant goal, brilliant cross. We allowed Czerny to be a winger, no a wide 10 for that exact moment in the game. And that's the way it scored. And that's the way that 90-minute action ends. Obviously, I'm jumping over wee moments here or wee maybes here, simply because the video is going to be far too long. The only real thing to notice is there are about 400 cards handed out. You know what I mean? It's like, you get a card, you get a card. It was like watching the Oprah show in the early 90s. It was just bang, 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 bang. Were all of them deserved? Probably no. But in extra time, we actually go, and I was begging once again for a bit of help, either down the left-hand side or adding a bit of freshness. But we sit on our hands again for another 50 minutes of the game, but again we still had opportunities and we end up winning the ball. And this is maybe the most controversial moment I think in the game of football. At the time I didn't think any of it, because I was like, well, VAR would have looked at it and cleared it, and if he is in the box or anything like that, it would have been a penalty. But again, Scales, Dilly's on the ball, we trap it perfectly. I think it's Bajramis or is it Hadji that's on at this point. But anyway, he nips in, he wins the ball. Scales, as you can see, clearly pulls him down. Now, I don't know the official rule, and I don't know if I'm just getting led astray by frustration or anything like that, but I've always thought if you were on the line, or if the foul takes place on the line is inside the box, and for me, he is on the line there, so it should have been a penalty kick. I'd like to interrupt myself, because after filming today's video and obviously starting to get the edits like hours ago, and I'm a wee bit calmer now, there has been some more information about this penalty kick, and the likes of Bobby Madden and other referees have spoke out and confirmed it should have been a penalty kick, and I'll put the thing up there if you want to watch it. But it's yet another major blunder from VAR in these types of games, and it's just sickening that it's happened once again. So yeah, for anyone wondering or got to this part of the video and says, oh, I should have been moaning more, the official rule is it doesn't matter what part it is, if it happens and they're inside the box at any point during the pool, it's a penalty kick. That's why the penalty was officially given versus Liverpool versus Southampton, and that's why a penalty kick should have been given here. So yeah, it doesn't help because it's another honest mistake for the referees, but it's a penalty we should have had. Where my frustrations were at the time is Tavernier steps up and takes it and curls it air the bar, and I'm just thinking, you're a yard for being inside the box, just drill it low or something, you know what I mean? Just put it in low, or try. I mean, I think Czerny was wanting it, I think Hadji was wanting it. I'm looking, let left footers take it, but again, that's where having your pools rank, and to be fair, if he puts it in the back of it, everyone's happy, but it just wasn't his day. I thought he was crap again. It just never looked like his day. All his deliveries were dreadful. He blew an opportunity in the 98th minute as well, where Czerny picks him out. He's actually inside the right-hand side box. We've got 3 men versus 3 men, and he ends up ballooning it air. Everybody and Hadji needs to save it for going out for a throw, and just drill it low, and it's probably hitting in the back of it. If you remember the semi-final after the Leipzig against Celtic, when Calvin Bassey just drilled it across and it was put into the back of it because it was hard to defend. I'm just screaming for that, but it's just no his day. It's a dreadful cross. It's a dreadful free kick. Speaking of dreadful, the second half, the first half, the second half of extra time was just as bad as well, by the way. We started making some changes. The likes of Dessers came on, Dowell had came on, Barron had came on. And you ken what it is. I don't think we had another opportunity to score after Dessers came on the park. I thought he was absolutely shocking in the game, and he should be embarrassed about the level he's approached. Dowell, you could make an argument he was playing out in the right hand side, which isn't his natural position. Lara, but again, did he impact the game? No. And again, where my frustration turns up, no, moments like that, it's in the penalty shootout, which again we're skipping to. We've already broke it down. We end up losing 5-4. Ridvan misses the 4th one in the penalty shootout. Celtic score all of them, you know what I mean? But at the same time, as we have a backup left back and a goalkeeper taking it over a guy we spent all that money on and a guy that's on a hell of a lot of wages. If they didn't deem themselves good enough to score a goal that is vital for his club 12 yards out, if they didn't feel comfortable with that pressure of needing to step up 12 yards out and scoring for this football club versus Celtic in a cup final, they can't be in the dressing room. And that's the way I look in the game, and that's what I've learned. I know who's in and who's out and who needs to move on. And again, I'm not one of these guys that should never wear the shirt again, because again, things can change so quickly in football. People can have good spells, bad moments, great moments, but I just wouldn't want that mentality in the dressing room. And if we're trying to build for the future and trying to put foundations in and try and build something that's going to be successful going forward, it can't have people that didn't want to stand up in the big moments. And that's how I feel, ladies and gentlemen. It's a heartbreaking, crushing loss, but again, I learned what I needed to learn for the team. I know who's in and who's out, who's good enough, who can be, and who shouldn't be anywhere near it, as we continue to rebuild this football club from the depths of what has been the majority of this season and the way we folded the league title last season. But that's it. That's my thoughts and opinions on the game of football. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. There is pride, there is resiliency in that, there is stuff I'm happy with in the game, but again, we lost the game again. It's another hard luck story, and I'm tired of being the team that's always unlucky in the big games. I want to be the team that maybe plays poorly but wins games. But we need characters, we need mentality, and we need that belief in the dressing room. There's a couple in there that score it, but others that need to be gracefully moved on, preferably in January. That's my thoughts. What about yours? Let me know your opinions down there in the old comment section below. And as always, I've been CJ92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.